Right, Monday night, 8 p.m, not only does the Premier League return to Stamford Bridge, Graham Potter, the pot dog, returns to Stamford Bridge with his new side, West Ham United, who, by the way, with just one win in their last 5, are in dire need to turn their season around. And I tell you what, not only do West Ham need a win, more importantly, and especially for this channel, Chelsea Football Club need a win. Because in a weekend where Liverpool face off against a resurgent Bournemouth side, who are absolutely unreal, by the way, at the moment. Forest take on Brighton, that's always going to be a hard game. Newcastle play Fulham, who can always pull off an upset. And Aston Villa, off the back of an emphatic European night, have a local derby against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And, most importantly of all, Manchester City play Arsenal. One thing and one thing only can be guaranteed, and that is that teams around Chelsea in the table will be dropping points this weekend. So it is crucial, in my opinion, that Chelsea nail the hammers and capitalise on the points that will inevitably be dropped. I am joined by the big dog, channel fan favourite, who everyone was absolutely fuming wasn't in the last video, Josh Aveste. What's happening,
Can
mate?
I just say, the slickness that you just did, the hammering of the nail there, made me feel physically ill. Like, you were just so smooth with it. It was actually annoying. But I am annoyed at you more generally because you've cheated on me.
There you go.
You brought someone else onto the channel and, I'm not mad about it, but I am disappointed.
Just
that's all I'm going to say.
Just disappointed.
Yeah. What they don't know is that we actually both really like George.
Yeah. And you had a little fling with George Benson.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, sorry, I'm gaslighting him. I cheated on him first. Okay, I see how it is.
Yeah.
Pot Dog is back.
Potter. What are you thinking?
You know how it's going to go.
Mixed start so far at West Ham, hasn't he? He's had in the league, he's had 1 win, 1 loss.
I think they're looking all right, though. They're looking better.
Drew last time out to Aston Villa, wasn't it?
They did, yeah. But I think they're looking better than from what they were. I mean, Lopetegui was an absolute car crash at West Ham.
I mean, mate, you should hope they should look better, right? Because West Ham, I'm not being funny, I know they lost Declan Rice, but they're a side that before a ball was kicked this season and before the transfer window had even been delved into, had the likes of Paqueta, Jarrod Bowen, Kudus, who was absolutely brilliant. Chelsea were in for him at one point, Souček has always been a great player for them. And then they went into the transfer window and they signed the likes of Max Kilman, Somerville, who was player of the season, I think, last season in the Championship. Falkirk, obviously, I understand he's been injured. Edson Alvarez, they already had there. So I initially, at the start of the season, had West Ham finishing in my top 8, I would say.
Wow,
top 8 or 9 teams.
Yeah, they've got a very good squad for sure. Yeah, they should be right up there. I mean, it's incredibly disappointing. That's why they sacked the manager.
So what has gone so wrong for them? Is it purely put down to the manager?
I think they've had a few injuries, haven't they? I also think their defence is gettable. Like, I think while they did sign Kilman, I think Mavropanos I've never been particularly enamoured with. I don't think he's that amazing, to be fair.
It's a great little spot in Cyprus.
Yeah. Not best for your central defenders at the London Stadium. So, yeah, I think they are relatively porous at the back.
44 goals conceded.
There you go. So the data is there. So I think they are gettable from that perspective. But also, really, I think the most important thing to say is the manager didn't set them up in a way that they needed to win games. And I think Graham Potter has come in and of what I've seen of them already, he looks way better. And I think they look more sound as a team.
Does it worry you, right, when... Let me rephrase the question for a start. Does it worry you when we face ex-managers?
Yes.
It does.
100%.
It does.
It
right?
does, yeah.
Now, what sort of managers are you thinking of when we say that?
I think you're thinking of the Jose's.
The Contes.
Sorry, let me correct. Because there's one particular person that gets very annoyed about this.
I think there's a few.
But Jose
Mourinho, yeah.
Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, but we used to sing Jose
Mourinho.
But
I've been told very clearly.
2000 in the stadium were very, very...
Yeah, they were very, very wrong.
And you know what? There was no one more annoyed than Jose himself.
Yeah. He's going like this around the crowd, but he's going, Jay! King Carlo, I always worry about
when you come up against the likes of a Carlo Ancelotti and Antonio
even
Conte, Jose Mourinho, Sarri, you do have the fear of wanting a little bit of revenge and whatnot.
I know how you're going with this.
I'm not sure I feel that.
You are a
with Graham
disgrace.
Potter.
I think, I don't know what it is about Graham Potter, but you've never thought he was good enough.
Never a fan of the pot dog.
You never rated him.
No.
But we had some beautiful nights with him in a suit in the Champions League.
We had one or two.
You went on a different podcast. Again, another moment where he was cheating on me. No, I'm joking. There's no beef here. We're friends.
No, I always said that Graham
You went on
Potter's-
that podcast and you said...
What podcast?
You went on the James Lawrence Alcott podcast and you were talking about how good Potter was.
So.
In the Champions League.
I wasn't talking about how good he was.
You were talking about how good he was in the Champions League.
I said that Graham Potter's best performances as a Chelsea manager, for me, came in the Champions League. I was at the game against AC Milan. Was it AC Milan? Yeah. I was at the game against AC Milan. That was where... It was AC Milan, yeah, because Reece James pocketed Rafael Leao, and then he scored, and I think Aubameyang scored.
How was his suit in that game? Was it looking sharp?
The pot dog. He just had a skin fade.
Same barber as you.
Oh yeah, he was styling out, mate. Yeah. So obviously Champions League, and then I thought that our best performance of the entire season that year. By the way, the bar was fucking low that season.
Yeah.
Best performance of the entire season was probably when we turned it round against Borussia Dortmund. You know, we were 1-0 down. I think it was Adeyemi that scored the goal in the first leg, wasn't it? And then second leg, we come back, we win 2-0. I remember Sterling scored and he got a little bit lucky with the first chance. I can't remember for the love of me who scored the second.
No, I can't.
But that was our best performance of the season. Obviously, it unravelled for Graham Potter. My thing with Graham Potter, and I spoke about this on that podcast that was on the other day, was like Graham Potter was never a bad manager, but I also don't think he was what people believed he was. People thought he was the fucking Messiah, yeah? And then what happened, yeah? He leaves Brighton, Roberto De Zerbi goes there, yeah? Oh, now he's the Messiah.
You did make that point. You basically said that the system around Brighton, the directors of football, the playing staff,
Tony Bloom
were making his managerial exploits look better. That was your point.
I think so. I think that you can stick an average-ish manager, not throwing any shade here at all, for example, a Chris Hughton in at Brighton, and he would do a good job.
He didn't do as well as Graham Potter, did he?
He didn't do as well as Graham Potter, but De Zerbi did better than Graham Potter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was once Brighton had the likes of McAllister taken away from them, Caicedo taken away from them, Cucurella taken away from them. Do you know what I mean? And De Zerbi did better than Graham Potter, in my opinion.
Yeah,
wouldn't you say?
fair enough. Yeah, no, I think so. But again, like you say, the club is developing. That's like saying, do you know what I mean? Like when, you know, Jose came in, you know, that he was just, you know, making good what we had before. Like I think you still have to be. You know, you still have to be switched on. They've got a very good squad at that point, didn't they?
Do you think that if Graham Potter came in, say Graham Potter never came in, yeah?
Yeah.
And say we had Lamps. Say Lamps came in instead of Graham Potter, right? Saw out to the end of the season. Then we had the season of transition under Mauricio Pochettino, because that was very much a transitional season.
So you reckon Lamps comes in, we still get Pochettino, and then we still sack him,
and then we sack Pochettino at the end, and then Graham Potter now, instead of Enzo Maresca, comes in.
Yeah.
Do you think that he would have done a better job now with Chelsea in its current state than the Chelsea that he entered into? Which, by the way, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. If you disclude, I know he's fit at the minute, but if you disclude Reece James, would have only had how many survivors from Graham Potter's team are still there? Chalobah.
Was Enzo just in his reign?
Enzo signed under Graham Potter.
Yeah. So Enzo was Noni.
Funny enough, I'll give you one. A Graham Potter player who's still there, João Felix.
João Felix, that is a funny old one, isn't it? Yeah. Weird circumstance. Was Noni there in that period?
I don't believe he was.
There you go then. There's not many of them. There's not many of them there.
That shows you. Might have been,
I think he might have,
because I think he scored that goal against Arsenal. When we
but that just shows you. I mean, we've still got players like Carney and Chilwell, but they're not. I wouldn't class those as. Well, they're not
Chelsea
players, are they now? Really? No. So
Can I quickly ask you before? By the way, this is obviously our match preview. We're gonna give our team sheets and whatnot, score prediction. But can I just ask you at this moment in time, right? Ben Chilwell now is not, shock horror, going to be leaving in the transfer window. Now, why on earth Chelsea thought that all of these clubs were going to come in with demand for these players that haven't been getting any sort of minutes at all, and like they were going to be able to shift them on in the transfer market, is beyond me, by the way. But Ben Chilwell hasn't been included now. We've got rid of Renato Vega for the rest of the season and whatnot. Do you think, even if it's for, you know, the casualty minutes and whatnot, or maybe some minutes in the Cup, Conference League, I suppose we're in the knockout stages of that now and it's important we win it, so we might go stronger with it. But with what we've got at the minute, do you think that we, out of any player that has been exiled from the squad, do you think that Chilwell's the one that maybe Maresca should start to sort of integrate back into things?
Full England international.
Yep.
Champions League winner.
Yep.
200 grand a week. Why would he not be involved in the squad?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't fit into an inverted fullback, which we don't really even play with Cucurella and Reece James both on the pitch.
Well, I mean, mate, if you look at the position and the heat map of Cucurella recently, he's not inverting all that much at all. He's more of a left winger.
And also, do you know what I was thinking about on the way here? I was thinking if we do end up like bringing back one of the CDMs or signing a CDM, which by all accounts could happen, right?
When's the deadline? The 2nd?
The 2nd, you said, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so this will go out.
Actually, it's Monday night. It's on Monday. Is that the 2nd? It's because I know it's on the same day as the West Ham game.
Oh, well, then that's the 2nd, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah.
By the way, people, I'm going to do a live stream for the West Ham game. First live stream I'm going to do for one of the matches. You need to show me how to get the clock and the score.
Oh, I'll do the clock and the score, mate. Don't worry, I'll show you my clock.
Clock it up. show me a clock.
What were we talking about? we were talking about Ben Chilwell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I would use him. If you ask me what Maresca's going to do, I think it seems exactly the same. And I think, again, this is a clear failure of Enzo Maresca and the director of football, that they've got a player who is fighting fit, who is a full England international. They can't now flog because they're just not even involving him. Again, we said this on the kickoff. There are certain players that you need to just involve in the squad, like a Marcus Rashford at Man United, to get their transfer value up. And you need to play them every now and then, because if they don't play, they're never going to get in any squads, are they? It's just, again, like, I understand the business model. I understand what the directors of football are doing. Buy young players, put them into the first team, hope that they progress and improve, and sell them on for big money. But quite frankly, there are edge cases here where Ben Chilwell could have been used in and around the squads, especially, as you say, without a Vega.
Yeah.
It's a disgrace.
I think what we'll see now is if Cucurella is rested for any reason, suspension, any absence, then we'll probably see Malo Gusto
will be
in
there.
That position.
Yeah.
Trevor Chalobah will play wherever he's told to play, sort of thing. He won't moan, he won't kick up a fuss, so we could see him and we could see Tosin come into that defence and whatnot. But yeah, I think that my main concern going into this match, and we're going to get onto our team sheet in a minute, but I've got a few main concerns, one of which we won't reveal until we reveal our team sheet, but one of my main concerns going into this match is a certain player who had a disastrous debut, actually, against West Ham.
Yeah.
And that is Moises Caicedo. Now, that day, right, I thought Chelsea, and this might be a hot take, I thought Chelsea looked really good that day. Like, I remember watching us that day and thinking, God, we look decent, mate. Like, things are starting to come together and whatnot. We end up getting beaten 3-1, right?
Carney scored the goal, didn't he?
Carney scored the goal.
Yeah.
He's gone down injured. Enzo missed a penalty. Do you remember that?
I do
Before
remember
Cole
that.
Palmer was at the club. Caicedo comes on for his debut, actually gives away a penalty, I believe.
He did, yeah.
And
it was a pen.
He's run ragged and whatnot. The good news is, since losing to West Ham at the start of the season, that last season, we've faced them twice since, and they failed to score against us, and we've just chipped the cool 8 goals.
Yeah, I saw
against
that.
them.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Good aggregate scores.
Yeah.
8-0,
not too
casual
bad.
8-0.
Not
We
too
do that
bad.
to everyone.
Nice little 8-0. Can you remember an 8-0 at Stamford Bridge?
Was it Villa?
Villa.
I was going to say Villa. And
Villa.
then it came out of my
Villa.
mouth and be like, why would it be Villa?
Let me tell you who you were thinking of.
Wigan.
Yeah, what was that?
Was that the Claude
Was that
Makelele? Was that the Claude
Nah, he was
Makelele pen?
gone from the club by then. Gone from the club.
Who scored the last goal in that game? Can you remember?
What, against Wigan?
Yeah.
Oh, God knows.
Frank Lampard scored a couple, didn't he?
Who was my favourite ever Wigan player?
Hugo Rodallega.
Yeah.
Was it actually?
Yeah. Who was my favourite?
Valencia was a good one, wasn't
I'd
he?
say he was a good. Yeah, and he became a great player.
I mean, your favourite Wigan player should be Victor Moses.
Was it Wigan, was he?
I think so, yeah.
Wasn't Reece at Wigan?
Reece was as a DM.
Was at Wigan as a DM. Yeah,
he scored some bangers as well from a DM position.
Do you remember his goal against Brighton behind closed doors, Reece? And we were playing that baby blue kit, like sky baby blue
the sort of white, sort of blue. That was a good kit.
Yeah. The reason Caicedo is a concern for me is I think that the most criminal bit of transfer business or lack of transfer business that we've done in this window so far is having one very good sort of midfielder that can act as a defensive midfielder, and one that some could say is exceptional, one of the most, highly touted prospects in European football at the moment, in Leslie Ogachukwu and Andre Santos respectively, having those available to us and not recalling either of them. And this is where my area of concern with Caicedo comes in. Caicedo is a player that sooner rather than later you are always going to lose. The first reason of that being he is the man that puts out fires. And when you're putting out fires constantly every match, probably most matches you're going to receive
some tackles. And we saw that game the other day. Can you remember what the game was where he got tackled? We were very concerned about his knee. It was a home game. I was there.
Yeah, it was the Wolves game.
It was a Wolves game. There you go. And I think it was only 15 minutes into the game. He gets a crunching tackle. His foot locks down into the ground.
We shit ourselves.
I was terrified.
Yeah.
And actually the medical staff come on the pitch, and I thought he's getting carried off in a stretcher. In fact, I think they asked for the stretcher.
And not only that, mate, the other thing as well is like he'll always get a booking every game.
Yeah, true.
Because you'll make a tactical foul and whatnot. So you need reinforcement there. And I understand that we've got Romeo Lavia in some sort of capacity in terms of he's in and out. But that's another thing as well at the moment, right? Why have we not received any update as to Romeo Lavia?
Because they don't know how fit he is. They're so worried about those hamstrings. Because that hamstring injury was on the other leg, the most recent one from the previous one. So
if we had a Reece James situation with Romeo Lavia, that would be horrific, wouldn't it?
I think we already are in that situation with him. Are we not?
Well, I mean, yeah, we're a season into it.
But don't worry, mate. We got Dewsbury Hall, so
there you go.
It's fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Do you know what, mate? My hot take of the day is I've got a very bad feeling that Andre Santos doesn't even play for us next season.
Sold straight away.
No, not sold, but not necessarily with Chelsea.
What, loaned out again?
Potentially loan. I'm so worried about that because Andre Santos needs to be playing week in, week out. Would you put Andre Santos in the team now? I'm almost regretting asking this now. Would you put him in the team over Enzo?
No, I wouldn't put him in the team over Enzo Fernandez. No, I think that he's showing great progress at Strasbourg, but we need to put things into context. I don't believe that he's playing in the top 3 league.
Do you put him in the team right now over Lavia?
Well, Lavia's not fit at the moment. Lavia's not fit.
Say fully fit.
No.
You still put Lavia in?
No, I put him as our 4th choice if everyone's fully fit in terms of Caicedo being our first choice, Enzo Fernandez, Romeo Lavia are about level pegging. I put the two of them, maybe Enzo slightly ahead at the moment.
Do you think Lavia and Andre Santos can play in the same team?
Well, they have done, I think. They have done
in
pre-season matches.
Because does it not worry that they're both more defensively minded?
Is Andre Santos that
I don't think he is.
minded, mate?
I agree with
we,
you.
We sort of saw that in the initial pre-season under Mauricio Pochettino when we were banging in goals for fun. But now I'm starting to think, I don't even think he is that.
Do you think it's Caicedo, Lavia, and Lavia's the backup to Caicedo, and Enzo Santos, and Santos is the backup to Enzo? Do you think it's that simple? Like playmaker and destroyer?
Yeah,
fair enough.
God knows where Kieran Dewsbury all fucking is.
Well,
either
the fact
way,
is they want to sell him.
Let's get on to our team sheet. So right now on screen you can see the team sheet, and let's start straight off by talking about your boy and my lookalike, the very good looking man in Philip Jorgensen.
Yeah, I mean, how many lookalikes do you have at this point, to be honest?
Loads.
Who's the most like? Who's the one that you'd want to look most like?
I don't really want to look like none of them, but the ones I probably get most offended by is fucking when people. I don't know why, but on the boxing channel I get, Dean Gaffney covered boxing now. Dean Gaffney,
Really? Is that worse than Guy Fawkes? Is it?
Guy Fawkes, the anonymous mask.
Yeah.
I get that quite a lot.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else?
I've seen you get loads. I can't remember them now off the top of my head.
Denzel Washington, people often say.
You and Denzel. Yeah. What an actor.
Yeah.
He's been in some fucking good films.
What an actor. Man on Fire.
Man on Fire, yeah. Was he in Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3? Have you seen that one with John Travolta?
No, I've not seen it.
Good one.
Not seen it.
Yeah.
What's the best song out of Greece?
Oh well.
I got you.
It's the Bee Gees one, isn't it?
What's that?
You're the one that I want.
Is that Bee Gees?
No, that's not Bee Gees. Staying Alive is the Bee Gees.
Yeah,
that's the one.
That's not in Greece.
Is it not?
No.
What's that film then? That's John Travolta film.
Don't know. Oh, Saturday Night Fever.
Saturday Night Fever.
There you go.
See,
anyway,
well done. I'm glad you said that.
On to Jorgensen.
Yeah, Monday.
He's starting in this game for me.
Is he?
And for me, he needs to be starting now until the end of the season. I've had enough of Robert Sanchez. I'm sorry. I did try. You know, there were points in the season where I tried to be optimistic, glass half full, tried to be positive, tried to say, look, okay, I understand that he does still have these calamities, but he is pulling off some really good saves, and I'm not going back on it. He was pulling off some good saves at times, but now it's getting to a point where he's consistently costing us points and in many circumstances games.
I tried to tell you, Joey. I have actually. If you rewind the tape, I have been saying Jorgensen for a very long time.
You got to remember, I've always been a little bit scarred in terms of I publicly criticised Cucurella and said that he's not good enough to play for Chelsea.
Yeah, but you've also publicly criticised other players that are shit.
Yeah, I know. I know. But what I'm saying is, I then thought, right, I've got to now dedicate my life to backing Cucurella and apologising for my disgraceful comments that I once said about him when I said that he was no good to play for Chelsea
he appreciates
Football Club. I think he appreciates it. I think he appreciates it.
It's the time for Sanchez is gone. And I mean, for me, let me chuck a scenario out here now. Enzo Maresca plays Robert Sanchez in this game. Robert Sanchez has a very good first half, but makes another calamitous error in the second half. We go on to lose against West Ham. The pressure is on Enzo Maresca, and quite frankly, the pressure will be on every single other member of the management staff, directors of football, but also more so on Robert Sanchez. I think that could be curtains for him if it isn't already curtains for him now. Yep. And I'm incredibly worried about that. I don't want to be going to Stamford Bridge and having the boys in the Matthew Harding boo fairly our starting goalkeeper. I think Enzo Maresca now needs to make this decision, because if he doesn't, the fans are going to sort it out.
The fans will let him know. Robert Sanchez
and I don't think it will just be Robert Sanchez. Weirdly, I think if Enzo Maresca starts him in this game and he ignores all of the data, which we can clearly see, it's not just you and I now going, oh yeah, I don't really fancy Robert Sanchez. Like he makes a couple of errors. The data's there.
Remember as well though, like when we say the fans here, it's not just our fans. Like, you know full well, pass goes back to Robert Sanchez, the away fans, ooh, you know what I mean? It will be constant. It'll be constant because he's known to be error prone. So I would have Jorgensen in there. And do you know what, mate? Even if Jorgensen made a howler or two, I'd still have him in there for the next match, because I think that he deserves a run in the team now. Ideal scenario, though, I'll always die on my sword in saying this, I'd recall Georgi Petrovic off loan and I would start him ahead of both Jorgensen and Sanchez.
Let me ask you the question then. Goalkeepers for next season, who are the starting two goalkeepers? Like, what do you actually think?
What do I want?
No, what would you actually think will happen? What will be our squad on September the 1st, 2025?
I'd probably say we end up going and fucking signing a 250th goalkeeper or something like that.
That would be such a mistake.
But in terms of what I would like Petrovic and Jorgensen as a backup and
Petrovic 1, Jorgensen 2.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then get rid of Sanchez.
And then Penders as the
Penders, whoever. Apparently Penders is pretty good. Anyway, let's move on to the back line. We have gone Reece James, Trevor Chalobah, Levi Colwell and Cucurella. Now that, for me, is a pretty solid defence, in my opinion. And to be honest, I think when you look at this lineup as a whole, right, Caicedo and Enzo just in front of them, Madueke, Palmer, Sancho, and Nicholas Jackson up top. Without the context of what's been going on recently, that looks like a fucking solid lineup, doesn't it?
Looks like a really good team.
But
I love it.
But here's my problem with it. Reece is back available.
I thought you were going to slag him off there. My heart sank.
No, I'd never slag Reece off. Love Reece. But here's what I'm going to use, the terminology I'm going to use. He's back available, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay? We never know how long. That's why we treasure him when he's here. Okay? Trevor Chalobah, fine. Levi Colwill, just come back. He missed a whole game and then he played a 90 minutes, I think, against
but he's
Man
had
City.
10 days off.
Something like that. But he's had 10 days off. He's not on red alert or anything, but I'd be keeping an eye.
What, in terms of fitness?
In terms of fitness.
Oh, God, I thought you were questioning his ability
in terms of fitness. So this is what I'm saying. No. What I'm saying is, when you look at this squad, I'm saying it looks really, really strong. But I'm saying, in terms of where I see everyone at from a fitness standpoint, always going to be question marks over Reece at this moment in time.
Yep.
I do believe, despite him starting every single match until the one that he missed against Wolves, I do believe that maybe a slight, not question mark, but just need to keep an eye on Levi Colwill. But he has had 10 days off. He had 10 days off.
Cucurella is fine. He's fit and ready.
Cucurella, fine. Caicedo, the way he plays the game, I think we always need to keep an eye on him because he wins them most of the time, but he does go lunging into those challenges. Enzo Fernandez was one that I do feel, if we had have been on a hotter run of form and we hadn't have been on this dip, and it wasn't Man City that we were playing, maybe it was lesser level opposition, wouldn't have come straight back into that starting lineup. I do believe we'd have had him and Dewsbury Hall in there for another game. Again, however, he did come in. He did play all right against Manchester City, despite the scoreline, and he's now at a rest, so I'm not looking at him so much. Madueke, fine. Palmer.
Yeah. Injury.
Is he injured?
But I think there is a school of thought now that he has been playing with an injury for a while because his output hasn't been as brilliant as it once was.
I think he's been playing with an injury since the Brighton game at home.
Do you know what I really am sick of? And I had to do this on the kickoff, is defend him in big games. And I just think it's such a lazy argument to say, Cole Palmer doesn't turn up in big games. Fucking hell, give him a pass. Like let him actually have an opportunity. Like I think Cole Palmer is consistently one of our best performers in all of the big games, even when, as you say, he's injured.
Yeah.
So I do think he's carrying something. But like Levi Colwill, I hope that the last 10 days have been restorative and he can come into this game, as fighting fit as one can do in the middle of a season. When was the last time that Chelsea had the 10-day gap?
There you go. And we all remember how he performed in the 6-0 win against West Ham last season. Couple of beautiful
He's a fucking baller, isn't he?
Cole
Palmer is one of my favourite people in the world right now, I would say, let alone at Chelsea Football Club.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
It was me before I did that podcast with Benson.
Yeah, I know.
It's your fault,
really,
George.
George, for fuck's sake. You do take the piss.
Jadon Sancho, he obviously had probably one of, if not his best match in a Chelsea shirt against West Ham in that 3-0 win, didn't he? He played really well in that game. And then Nicholas Jackson up top. He's got a score in this one, hasn't he?
Come on, Jacko. Come on.
He got an assist. He got an assist against Man City, but he's got a score in this one.
Do you know what, mate? We are recording this on Friday the 31st of January.
Yep. It's going out on...
When is it going out?
Saturday the 32nd.
Okay.
No,
the good old 32nd.
Saturday the 1st.
Saturday the 1st. I think that by the time we kick off this game, hot take number 2 of the podcast, that we will have signed another striker.
You think we're going for Evan Ferguson? You're believing the reports, are you?
No, Evan Ferguson, unfortunately, is going to West Ham. I've just been reading on my timeline on Twitter.
Why is that unfortunate?
Yeah. Well, he's good.
Is he?
Yeah, he's good. It's only going to be a loan as well, by the way. I don't think he's going to be going permanently.
They're loaning him. I'll have him on loan.
Yeah. Well,
they're not going to fucking loan him to us, though, are they?
They're not going to loan him to us. I think the key thing is that when he gets loaned, he has to play. But I'm hearing some rumours. Matt Law was one of the people saying it, and you've always got to trust him. He knows what he's talking about. He's saying that we could be in for Šeško at the tail end of this window.
The final hour.
In the Šeško. Leipzig, who he's currently at, have just bid 80 odd million for Xavi Simons from PSG. You know that guy? He's a fucking good player.
Yeah. Leipzig had that sort of money today.
Well, the question is do they need a bit of money to fund that deal? Because they want him.
Oh.
So what they're
chuck
saying...
a nice little 50 mil at Cesco if you fancy it.
Mate, we've recorded this. How long have we been recording this podcast for now together, you and I? Probably 18 months more than that now. Yeah, a couple of years. We were talking about Šeško when we did our first one.
Do you know what's really funny? Yeah? There's these players, right, that like I'd never heard of. And you're a bit of a scout. Like, you're a football manager, man.
I am a football manager, man.
Scout, innit?
Yeah, FM25, can you just fucking sort it out? Have you heard the rumours about FM25? Have you heard the drama about this?
No.
Football Manager is always released in November of every single year. Football Manager's developer, Sports Interactive, have created a new match engine. So it's going to look like FIFA right? So it's going to look amazing. But they delayed the game. And it's meant to be out in March, but they're meant to release all the data about it in January. They said in January, and they haven't released any data about it. So I'm just going to make a very solemn plea. Football Manager, please release some data about it because I want to play. Because I want to sign Šeško at Chelsea in the game. Because he was, mate, in Football Manager, he becomes the best striker in the world.
He's been a bit of a beast this season, hasn't he?
Yeah. He is a beast.
Scoring goals.
He's a baller.
Assisting. Yeah.
We should have signed him last
summer.
summer.
He'd fit in Chelsea's system?
Yes.
Yeah.
He would fit in perfectly. Do you know what I keep thinking about? Because you have always said this. I think Nicholas Jackson on the left with a striker in front of him would be so good. I think it would be so good.
I've always said it.
Would you? What I wanted to ask you is, does Jackson start on the left wing over a player like Sancho? If we signed a striker and it was a world-class elite striker like an Osimhen or a Šeško.
No, he doesn't. But I think we sometimes need to come out of the conversation of like, does he start? Does so-and-so start? Like whatever, like there are minutes to go around, believe me.
Can I just say?
And I do think, sorry to interrupt you, but I do think that one of my biggest sort of gripes with Enzo Maresca at the minute, and he changed it a little bit earlier against Man City and whatnot, is not being able to understand when that front line goes a bit dead.
Yeah.
And when that front line goes a bit dead, I'm on about, mate, like 55 minutes. Give them 10 minutes of the second half and 55 minutes. If that front line isn't looking creative and all of a sudden if the press has dropped off, that's when I want to see one, maybe two substitutions. Now, by the time we release this, maybe he's left the club by the time we release this. But João Felix, like, I want to see, I haven't got him in my starting lineup, but I want to see João Felix involved in this match. And it doesn't necessarily need to be.
You're not
Cole
going
Palmer.
to, mate, because he's going to leave. So there's.
Do you think?
Yeah. We're going to keep Nkunku and we're going to get rid of João Felix.
In the final hours?
Yeah.
On a loan or on a
permanent? Did they ever really want João Felix?
I don't know.
That's the thing. Like, I'm the same as you, right? I really like João Felix, and I think if he did have a run of games, I think he'd perform really well. But I just think I'm getting the thing now where they just needed to get Conor Gallagher out of the club, and they were so desperate to get Conor Gallagher out of the club, they just signed João Felix.
Mental, isn't it? How much we could do with a Conor Gallagher.
It is fucking crazy. Can we go back to Jackson just for a quick second? I would play him over Sancho on the left-hand side, and I think, hot take number 3 of the episode, I think that he would score more goals off the left than he would do up front.
Okay. I thought you were going to say I think he'd score more goals than Sancho off the left. And I thought
more goals than as a number 9.
Okay, yeah.
How crazy is that? I think it would happen. Think about it. He's got less time to think about some of those chances. He's got more opportunities to cut in and take a shot away.
Very much like Thierry Henry.
Yeah, they're very similar players.
Very similar.
Yeah. I'm sure no one will call us out for that.
He's got a lot of avavoom. Right. Listen, Josh, tell me.
Yeah.
Are we getting back to winning ways here?
I'm so worried about this game.
I'm not. I feel we are. I feel like we're going to go...
Give me your score prediction then.
I'll go 3-0 Chelsea again.
Who's going to score?
Second time this season. Who will score? I always like to do a rogue shout because it's easy to just go, Cole Palmer. You know what I mean? But who will score? I think Nonzino gets a goal.
Yeah.
Nonzino, Pacino, and maybe a little Enzo Fernandez goal. How do you feel about that? Yeah.
Yeah, I rate that very highly. What about a Cole Pen?
Cole Pen, yeah.
It'll probably be a Cole Pen in this. I'm going to go for a much more pessimistic outlook of this game. Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry to say it. I think that the pot dog will be very much up for it. I think West Ham, the Hammers, will put a nail in a certain coffin of Enzo Maresca. No, I'm joking. I think they'll put in a coffin of nail in the coffin of Sanchez. I think it will be 1-1 in this game, and I think it is a late. I think we go 1 goal up, and I think it's a late mistake.
I think you're wrong. But one thing that we do know for sure is I am going to be live streaming my reaction to the match, and then I'll obviously shut off the live stream and record a video straight away after. So make sure you are locked in. We'll go live about 7:45. Should I go live?
Yeah, is it an 8 o'clock kickoff?
Yeah.
Yeah, 7:45.
I'll go live about 7:45 on Monday evening,
Yeah.
which means from 7:30 you're going to need to give me a hand because I don't know what.
Well, I'm going to be at the game, so we'll do
shit,
it.
you're gonna be at the game.
We'll do it before. We'll do it before.
We'll set up.
But yeah, what we'll do is we'll set the live stream up so that when this video goes live, you can actually click the link and actually go and make sure you hit the notification bell, because obviously you want to make sure you know beforehand and you're subscribed to see that content.
There you go. People, thank you very much for making it round to the end of another video. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel and check out Joey and Josh, because tomorrow on the Joey and Josh podcast, we are dropping a brand new episode, and it is a reaction to the recent Netflix documentary, Don't Die.
Brian Johnson, you've heard of him, you've seen all the rumours, you've seen all of the videos all about him swapping blood with his son Talmadge, the rumours that he's a vampire, the rumours that he's, I don't know, shagging random people, there's a lot of controversy about this guy.
Me?
No, I'm talking about Brian Johnson.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, by the way, not the Liver King. I've learned that it's Brian with an I for Liver King and a Brian with the Y for the man that wants to live forever. 2 different things.
Best Brian with a Y?
Tell me.
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston, what a hero he was. Best
Breaking
show of all time, Breaking Bad. Argue with us in the comments.
There you go. Argue with yourself. See you all in the next one.